Hey everybody! Welcome back to my kitchen. Y'all, if y'all hear some stuff in the background, dude number one is in here. But he can stay in here because he is washing dishes.
Multi-purpose man, multi-purpose man.
Thank you, babe. Well, anywho, today I'm going to make some cube steak with gravy. So I wanted to share with you how I make my cube steak, and we have 6 pieces of this beautiful cube steak. I've already rinsed it off and I've patted it dry.
Wash your hands.
Of course I wash my hands, honey. We don't be in the kitchen with nasty hands, cause why?
They got germs.
What? Cause they had germs. We don't be in the kitchen with nasty hands, cause that's just nasty.
Just nasty.
Nasty. Okay? Now I have a very, very simple seasonings that I use for my cube steak. I'm going to use a little bit of seasoned salt and some garlic powder and onion powder, that dynamic duo, and then some black pepper. And I'm going to make gravy from scratch, or homemade gravy. So I'll be using a little all-purpose flour. You can use self-rising if you want to. But after I get through dipping the flour in the cube steak in the flour, then some of the flour that's left, I'm going to use it to make my gravy. Okay? Now I'll start by cooking my cube steak on the stove, and I only cook it enough to start browning it. Then I take it out. Then I will fix my gravy, because I like to finish my cube steak in the oven, and most of the time I will just let it bake in the oven. I'm in no hurry, so sometimes it may be in the oven for 2 hours on maybe about 300, 325. It just depends on how I'm feeling that day, but I just like to let it slow cook in the oven. Okay, so first we're going to start by seasoning our cube steak. Now I'll be frying it in my cast iron skillet, and I just have enough bacon grease in there. Yes, I'm using bacon grease. I have just enough in there that it's gonna, cover the bottom of the skillet once it starts to heat up and melt. So right now I'm gonna turn that on so the grease can go on and start getting hot. I'm gonna turn it on about 7. So that's maybe about medium high right now. I'm just gonna get these cube steak seasoned up. Seasoning salt. And you all can add whatever kind of seasonings you like to season your meat with. But today we're going to make it, keep it really, really simple. Onion powder. Garlic powder. And then black pepper. I'm going to do these same seasonings on the other side. And flip it over and do the same thing. Okay, now that I've finished seasoning my meat, I'm just going to lightly flour it on both sides. And then we're going to put her in the grease. And I make sure that I shake off the excess flour. going to turn my burner down to about 5 because I don't want it cooking too fast. But again, I just want to brown it. Shake off the excess and then add it to the grease. I don't want to overcrowd my pan, so I'm going to only cook 3 at a time. And I have onions over here, but after I make my gravy, before I put it in the oven, I like to just put the onions over top of it and then cover it up and then let it bake. Because that's what's going to cook the onions, because it's going to be in the oven for at least about 1.5 hours to 2 hours. Okay, I turned my burner up to about 7.5 to 8 because again, I'm not trying to get it done. I'm just trying to brown it on the outside because it's going to finish cooking in the oven. So I just want to get it brown. So this is how it looks on both sides. Okay, now this is how done I want it on the outside, but if you look very closely, you can kind of look at it and tell that it's not done, so you would not be able to eat it right now, because I promise you, the inside of it is pink. So now I'm going to pour a little bit of this grease off out of the pan, because I don't need all of this grease, okay? I need just a little bit to make my gravy. And then all of those drippings, you want to leave that in the pan when you're making gravy. That's what makes some good old gravy. Good old gravy. Careful too when you're getting rid of that grease out of that pan. Okay, and let's start on the gravy. I'm gonna bring you guys up close so you can see exactly what I'm doing. And you guys, I do not measure, so I'm sorry I can't give you any measurements, but this kind of gives you an idea. Okay, now this grease is still hot. Now what I'm going to start by doing, this is the same flour that I floured my meat in. I'm just going to put some in here. And you have to make sure that you keep an eye on it because you can burn it. And we usually like a lot of gravy. Okay, now let me put just a little bit more of this grease in here. I need a little bit more, okay? Because I need to be able to, I guess, kind of move that flour around, and that way it can brown. Okay, you see, now that's better. That's why I say I can't give you any measurements. But it was a little too thick just a couple of seconds ago for me to be able to, you know, get it to brown, okay? So I'm not going to start adding any water until I get it the consistency or the color that I want my gravy to be. We prefer that our gravy is dark. We like dark gravy, so I'm going to let it keep cooking until it starts to get dark. But again, keep your eye on it because you can burn it. Let me zoom you in a little bit. And right now I have my burner on high. I don't know if you can tell, but it is starting to get just a little bit darker. And I have me a measuring cup here that it has about 3 cups of water in it. Again, I'm not sure exactly how much I'm going to use. At this point, when you start adding the water, you need to be very careful because it's going to steam up, okay? You guys see how that gravy is getting darker? At this point, it is critical, it's crucial that you watch it because it will burn. Okay, so I think that's about dark enough for us. So now I'm going to start adding the water. Again, when you do this, be very careful. And once you add the water, keep stirring it, okay? You see how that's still thick? So you know you need to add more water. Stir, 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 stir. Stir, stir, stir. Okay, right now I'm going to add some salt. And then I'll just keep tasting it until it gets to my desired taste, okay? I'm going to add some of this garlic powder. And some onion powder. And you have to keep stirring because otherwise it's going to boil over. So as a matter of fact, I'm going to turn this burner down. Right now it's on high. I'm going to turn it down to about 5 for just a couple of minutes. And what I usually do too is I lift my spoon, have a little gravy on it. I taste it with my finger. Yes, that's what I do on cooking at home. It needs more salt. So I'm going to add a little bit more salt. Make sure you add it gradually because once you get it in there, you cannot take it out. Add some pepper. This time I'm going to use a different finger. Okay, now that's enough salt. Okay, now you see this consistency, it's a little loose, but I usually like to have mine a little looser because as it cooks in the oven, it's going to thicken up. Okay. And again, it's very important that you keep stirring it because nobody want no lumpy gravy. Don't nobody want no lumpy gravy. And you don't have to make gravy from scratch. You can also buy, they have little packages that you can get from the grocery store. And they say brown gravy. You can use that, because I know some people struggle with making gravy, but that's how you do it. Easy peasy. The more you do it, the easier it'll be for you. Now, even now, I can tell it's starting to thick up. Again, I'm going to add a little bit more water. Okay. So now I'm going to take my cube steak, and we're just going to get it. Let me spray my pan a little bit. Make sure it doesn't stick. Okay. Add my cube steak to my casserole dish. And I'm going to show you guys something. I want you to look at this paper towel, which proves that this meat is not done. So you cannot eat it like this. Look at that. See that red? See that blood that has oozed out? It's not done, you all. It's not done. Don't eat it like that, okay? Don't do that. All right. I'm gonna turn this gravy off. And you guys, you know, kind of see the consistency is very loose, but it's okay because it's going to thicken up as it bakes. And we're just going to put some onions in here. I'm going to take this gravy and pour it over. Be very, very careful. Just going to pour it over the cube steak. Just like that. Just like that, you guys. Take some more pepper and garnish the top of it. Now we're going to cover it with foil. And I always put the shiny side of my foil down. Always put the shiny side down. And my oven is on 325. And we're going to leave this in the oven for probably at least a couple of hours. Again, no hurry. And it's going to be tender. No hurry. So we'll leave it in here and come back and check it maybe in a couple of hours. So again, my oven is set on 325. We're in no hurry to eat, so I'll check it in a couple of hours. And honestly, the reason that I'm not a cube steak eater, really. I mean, I'll taste it, but I could never get my cube steak to taste like my mom. Now, my mom cooked her cube steak totally on the stove. That's how she cooked it. She didn't bake it at all. But I don't know. Mine just didn't taste like my mama's, so I started a long time ago just putting it in the oven and letting it do its thing. And then to my people, they like gravy, so I just put it in the gravy and let the oven cook it, and then I don't have to worry about it. And it does. It comes out really tender. So again, we'll just let that go, and then I'll check it in a couple of hours when we're ready to eat. 2 hours later. Y'all look at that beautiful cube steak. You guys can see too how the gravy has thickened up. Ooh, y'all, this hot now. See that? Always ready to eat. But like I said, I like to bake it long enough to where it is like melt in your mouth tender. Like I said, I'm not a big cube steak eater, so baby, let me just put the sauce. Thank you. I can take one out so you guys can see it.
Get the little one.
I'm trying to show it to the people.
They don't need to eat it, they just need to see it.
They're not gonna eat it. Ooh, you was a trip. Yeah, he is a trip. It's like somebody getting ready to eat something. Oh, excuse me, honey.
They can't see that.
Huh?
They couldn't see that.
I'm getting ready to show it to them. I want to get the fork so they can see that it's tender. Although you looking like somebody getting ready to look at that.
That is so tender. Let me taste the tenderness.
You see, it's done in the middle because it wasn't done.
Let me see if it tastes done.
Roberts, and don't burn your mouth. Don't burn your mouth, little Roberts. Good, ain't it? And this is all I'm gonna do is taste it because
It's
I don't.
tender.
It's
Real
always,
tender.
I
Good.
know.
Breakfast.
Baking it does. It makes it tender if you bake it low and slow. Then he wanted some green beans and some mac and cheese and these biscuits. Y'all look at these pretty biscuits. If you don't pick up the feet, what you do? What happened? Did you burn yourself? What you do? It's hot. Or was that a piece of pepper? You alright? What did you do? You did something over there. Sound like you about to choke. Anyway, I was trying to show y'all these pretty biscuits. You alright, baby? Well, what did you do? Don't make people think you're choking off my cube steak.
No, I'm not choking off it.
Well, what made you choke?
It was good.
Anyway, Lord have mercy. Well, thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't, you can give it a thumbs down. It don't even matter. Turn on your subscribe button. As my husband says, push the nosy and shake something. Turn on your notification bell, okay? Thank you guys so much for watching. We already look forward to you joining us again next time. Bye.